Good evening to all amateur radio stations within the GTHA. This is Victor Echo 3, Golf Foxtrot X-Ray, and my name is Phil, and I'm located in Brampton, Ontario on Grid Square, FM 03 Delta Romeo. And I will be your net control operator for this evening's Sunday night 70cm Simplex Net for Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. This net is a check-in net, and for the purpose of this net is to test Simplex communications on the 70cm band, utilizing relay stations to cover a larger area. All check-ins are welcome and encouraged. I will also be logging all check-ins during the net. At this point, are there any stations holding emergency, priority, or any welfare traffic? Please come now. Nothing heard. That's a very good thing. First round will be call-outs for stations looking to check in, and having select stations do a call-out on behalf of Net Control as a relay station. And on the second round, I will have a question related to emergency communications and preparedness in amateur radio. So tonight's question is, since the weather is starting to warm up and spring is just around the corner, do you have any outdoor plans with amateur radio? Stations looking to check in, please come now with your call sign, name, and location, slowly and phonetically. You may proceed.
Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, Mac in Hamilton.
I acknowledge VE3OSN. There was another station in there too, but first, Paul. All right, great. We hear you in there. I got you here at an S5 into Brampton, although my preamp is on, but I did pull you out. No problem. It's actually full quieting. VE3OSN, good evening to you, and yeah, you're free to take off at your convenience.
This is what it feels
well,
like.
Glad you made it in there. So, all right, Paul, you have yourself a great night. V3OSN, 7-3. This is Victor Echo 3, Golf Foxtrot X-Ray Net Control Station for the 70cm Simplex Net. Any stations looking to check in, please come now.
Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey.
I have VA3 PLJ. There was another station in there. Go ahead.
VA3IMW. Okay, got Mac in there in Hamilton, VA3IMW, and VE3HAFN on. Any other stations looking to check in, please come now. VA3HPR. Guess nobody's listening to or watching the Oscars tonight. Nothing to be missed there. VE3XVN acknowledging Edwin, and VA3HPR. Roger. Anyone else? Please come now. All right, we'll hold it there. We've got a really good start to the net this evening. We have 6 check-ins so far. 7 check-ins so far. So there we go. We had VE3OSN, Paul. He had to just check in and check out real quick. We did have him in there. Jason, Va3PLJ, over to you. And how are you this evening? And if you wanted to call out on behalf of Net Control, go ahead.
Obviously a Simplex Net, and we can't hear Jason, but we can hear Net Control and several other stations.
No worries, Jason. Well, thank you for doing a call out there. Just to give you a heads up there, your signal coming into Brampton, S7. Solid S7. No wavering on the signal. Well, and thank you for reminding me after the fact of the RV show. Because we're in the market for that right now, and we're really toying with that. That was one of the things that the YL said, you know what, let's get a trailer. You can go do your parks on the air, and we can also have a camper and go out to say little weekend getaways. I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. So anyways, thanks for that, Jason. Over to Max, down in the Hammer, Va3IMW. How are you this evening?
Doing very well, and thanks for calling me in. Just to let you know, I've taken a shine to live streaming the nets that I'm participating in. So at this point in time, YouTube is alive and well, and it is currently focused on what my radio is receiving from this net. If anybody's interested, you can look my call sign up on YouTube, Va3IMW, and you should be able to click on live stream events and find the net. So you not necessarily will hear everybody, but you'll have a chance to hear what I hear. Anyways, a great opportunity to kind of spread the wealth and give an opportunity for anybody who may not be able to hear simplex nets, but perhaps in the future, one of your ACS group may want to incorporate this into their station operations. So the folks that are usually tied to their handhelds and waiting for a repeater to open up, maybe they'll have an opportunity to pop in and say hello via YouTube. Anyways, I don't believe anybody in my area is going to be active at this point in time. So I'm not sure that doing a call out in this region is going to be effective at this point in time, but I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, Mac, no worries there. And that's great that you're live streaming it. And these live streams are then saved to your YouTube channel for historical purposes as well. So we can go back, let's say, a week or two in the past and listen to these nets. Is that correct? Over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're up there for a good long time. And I can see that we already have 2 people watching on the live stream. So I'm not sure who they are, but the chat is open. So typically for simplex nets, we'll stretch this out. Where this has been used, it has been used kind of globally, and you end up with a following that is global. So we end up with some pretty unique DX call signs that show up in the chat. Anyways, thanks for doing this one, and certainly looking forward to the warmer weather that supposedly is in front of us, and we'll look forward to some good things coming down the stream. On the second round, I will fill you in on some of the warmer weather activities that are looking us square in the face, specifically a Parks on the Air group activation that's going to take place on the 22nd of March. But I'll fill you in on the details of that when it comes around next time.
Oh, very Very good. And I'll probably be out at a park, and maybe we'll do a park to park. We'll see. We'll see how well this works for us. That's excellent that you have that, and you've got people listening to the stream right now. That is super cool. Just a side note here, we're no longer calling this an ACS net because it doesn't have any direct affiliation with ACS. And also, we've dropped the Aries for it as well. And I'm not going to get into more details about that this evening regarding the reasons why, but we'll keep the net going as is, status quo. And yeah, Mac, all right, fine. It's no worries to me or shout out in your area. And we'll keep you in on the second round. Anon, VE3AJF. Oh, sorry. Before I jump to Anon, Mac, I've got you at your signal coming in here is an S4. Good, clean audio. The audio is definitely coming over with a little bit of noise in the background of your signal. So, very well done. Anon, VE3AJF. Good evening, Anon. Over to you.
Good evening, Phil. Now, Net VGADF. Anon. Home location here is Patrick Wilson. Before I go on, Mac is giving me a net sweet signal tonight. It was a little stronger than last week. Of course, on the sideband, it was giving me an S5. But nice readable signal tonight from Mac. And you were talking about an RV trailer. A friend of mine, ours, he used to have a cabin cruiser, a boat. I used to go with that everywhere. And every day he would tell me stories every time he had to fill up with gas. It cost him $1,000 or something like that. So switched over to an RV with heavy duty pickup truck, and it has a fifth wheel to tow the RV. And of course he's traveling all over the place. Anyway, that's it for this round, I guess. Actually, so.
Hey, very good there, Anon. Oh, by the way, S9 plus 10 as usual. Good, clean, strong signal. Anon, what I'm going to do, since we're already 11 minutes into the net, I'm going to ask you to do a call out on behalf of Net Control, if you could. Over to you.
Yeah, I can. I just ran out of paper. I forgot to refill the binder here, so I'm going to write it in between some other writings that I haven't. I'll probably get mixed up. Anyway, this is Va3Imw on behalf of Net Control for the Toronto Evening Simplex Net. Any stations anywhere, please check in.
Victor Echo 3, Victor Alpha Juliet. Good evening, Anon.
Okay, one station there. Robert, VH3VAJ. I'm sure Phil heard you. Go ahead.
Well, if he doesn't, he needs a new radio, because he's definitely blasting in here. Mac was doing about 4 bars on the frequency, and you're, of course, full scale as always. So, no, Phil didn't hear me. He definitely needs to invest in a new radio. Back to you, Anon.
Okay, thank you, Robert. And you'll give me an S9. Any other stations before I turn it back to Net Control? Nothing else heard, Phil, and by the way, you're coming in also with 10 over 9 as usual. The weakest station was just back. Everyone else was coming with a good strong signal. I don't have any way to write anymore. So back to you.
No worries there, Anon. Understood on the absence of paper, but I did acknowledge VE3, VHA. Yeah, the ICOM is deaf, so I didn't hear you. No, I'm only kidding. I have you actually, Robert, coming in at a net 7, so a very good, solid signal. And yeah, the conditions are pretty good since this evening. I did some adjustments here, not as much as I would like to, but there we go. Edwin, VE3XBN, quick signal. You're coming in here at an S5 into Brampton. Over to you. Okay, very good. All right, well, we hear you in there, and it sounds good. Stick around if you can. The next round, we've got that question there. We got the warmer weather coming up. Well, this week looks okay. The week after looks pretty darn good. And I'm just wondering if anyone has any kind of outdoor plans related to amateur radio, whether it's tinkering around with your outside antennas and so forth. Well, good to hear you in there, Edwin, and we'll get back to you in just a bit there. Roger, Va3 HPR S9 plus 10. Over to you.
Well, I'm getting you about the same there, Phil. I heard you talking about RV. Mine's a 2014. I bought it a couple of years ago. So I bought it from the dealer just up about a half an hour drive from my property. And mine's a 23 footer. So I have a queen size bed, heated mattress in it. There's a couch. My trailer's the queen size bed's a Murphy bed, so it folds down over. You put the couch down, you fold that down. I got microwave, 6-gallon water heater, a bathtub with a shower, 2 showers, one outside, one inside, and a double sink, and a 3-burner stove, and a 2-door fridge. So that's what my trailer is. That's what mine is. Mine's a Flagstaff. It's a 23 LB ultralight. So I'll do a call it for you.
Yes, go ahead. If you could do a call on behalf of next call.
This is Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Papa Romeo on behalf of the Sunday Night ACS Net, or Simplex Net. I'll just call it that. Is there anybody wishing to check in? Please come now. Is there anybody wishing to check in to the Sunday Night Simplex Net? Please come on. I got nothing, Phil. Back to you.
Va3 HPR, VE3 GFX returning. I thought you were going to say, come on down to the prices right there for a second. Oh, very good. Yeah, we're looking, I don't know if we're going to go with a trailer or if we're going to go with a motorhome. Can't make that decision. It's not going to be like this big extravagant thing, that's for sure. But again, I think we're going to rent a few times, try it out, see how much we actually do like it or don't like it. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Okay, well, thank you for doing the call out there, and stick around. We'll chat on the next round. Robert, VE3, VAJ, over to you. How you doing this evening? And you've got an S7 coming here into Brampton. And if you can do a call on behalf of Net Control, over to you.
I can't hear you either. I hear about an S7 over here as well, and on full scale into my location. Roger, full scale into my location. Mac about an S4, S5, kind of varies between the two. And Edwin was only an S1. I could hear him every once in a while, but couldn't have carried on much of a conversation with him. And curiosity is killing me is what you're going to call this thing, because I know we can't call it ACS because we're not emergency, but I believe all the other nets have gone back to using Aries. Anyways, you have to log the net that comes in under both, so I don't think it matters which one you log it under. Anyways, good to hear you in there, Phil, as always, and I'll drop it and do a call out. Why did I do that? We're on the repeater, not on the repeater. I keep thinking we're going to time out. This is VE3 VAJ on behalf of VE3 NCS. If you're out there anywhere and would like to check into this net and you have a amateur radio call sign, please come now. Nothing heard there, Phil. Sorry, I drew a blank for you. Anyways, interesting as to what you're going to call the net. Back to you.
Well, we're going to hash it out, that's for sure. Right now, it is the 70-centimeter Simplex Net. 79 Simplex Net. It's still a tongue twister, but there we go. Well, thanks for doing a call out there. Maybe they are all watching the Oscars. Who knows? Well, with that, we've reached the bottom of the list. This is your Net Control Station, Victor Echo 3, Golf Foxtrot X-Ray. My name is Phil, and I'm operating out of Brampton, Ontario. Any stations anywhere that would like to check into this Simplex Net, please come now.
Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark in Mississauga.
And we have Mark, Va3Imw. Good evening, Mark. Are there any other stations looking to check into the Simplex Net? Please come now. Nothing heard. Mark, good evening to you. I have you coming in, actually, sorry, I'm not on the beam. I'm on the Omni tonight. I have you coming here at an S8 into Brampton. Mark, good evening to you, and over to you.
Oh, good evening, Phil, and all on that. You are coming to me pretty much full scale, full quieting. Nice clean signal. And I did hear Robert. I just walked into the shack now and turned on the radio as Robert was finishing there. I haven't had a chance to hear anybody else. And I hold no other traffic for the net. Would you like me to do a call out?
We'll sit you down in the Mississauga area. Sure, absolutely. Va3HES, over to you for a call out on behalf of Net Control.
Attention all amateurs. This is Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra on behalf of the Skywide 70 centimeter Simplex Net. Looking for check-ins. Any stations wishing to check in, please check in now. Again, this is Va3HES looking for check-ins for the 70 centimeter Simplex Net. Any stations wishing to check in, please check in now. No takers over here, Phil. I'll send it back to you.
Va3HES, VE3GFX. Well, thank you for doing the call out. I did talk to Ward Kennedy earlier this evening, and he asked me to send him an email, so I did do that. And I'm sorry, I sent him an email regarding this net here. So we might see an uptick in traffic next Sunday evening, because I think he might make a mention of this net on the Procom net. All right, well, good to hear you in there, Mark. Now, at the bottom of the list, we'll go back up to the top. And tonight's question is, since the weather is starting to warm up, and I know we're all itching to get out and do things outside, I do have a few projects here. One is climbing the tower and doing some work on top of the tower, and actually adding a section to it to bring it up another 8 feet. So that should be fun, and I'm hoping to get it done at the end of this month or the beginning of April. Anyway, that's the question. What you got planned in the warmer weather that's coming up upon us? Jason, VA3, PLJ, over to you. Oh, very good. You know what? It could be spontaneous too, right? And when you see the warm weather come up, it's like, wow, today's like 9 degrees Celsius. I'm going to go out there and do whatever. Tune up the antenna. Who knows? All right, well, Jason, very good. Mac, VA3 IMW. You've got some POTA activities planned in the next few weeks. Over to you.
Absolutely. On one of our local nets here tonight, one individual said he was planning to get out and activate on either the 11th or 12th as the warm temperatures come and greet us. But we're also trying to do group activations on a quarterly event. So we did a winter solstice where we activated from Stony Creek Battlefield Park. So we're going to do a spring equinox activation. So the closest we could get to on the weekend was March 22nd. We know that there's a park here in the city that is RF quiet. It's known as Saltfleet Park. So we'll be gathering there on the 22nd of March to get together and share a hot coffee, maybe some donuts and maybe hot chocolate, but we're going to activate the park as a group. So the Dundurn event that we did, we actually had 18 operators all together. So that was a great opportunity for everybody to get together and give everybody a chance to sit behind the mic and make some multiple contacts. There's one guy that we want to keep away from the mic because every time he keyed up and called CQ, we ended up with the park to park. And you can imagine what kind of a mess you end up with a park to park with 18 operators. Anyways, looking forward to the warmer weather, that's for sure.
Tell me about that. Second operator, third operator, fourth operator. Let me pass the mic off to the fifth, and sixth, and seventh, and so on. That kind of reminds me of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, thing from Sesame Street. But anyway, that becomes a little bit of a circus. Totally understand that, and that's great that you guys are getting out there for the spring equinox and doing a park activation. Just a side note that you kind of have something going on that I do. I took the initiative upon myself. It's not related to a club. It's not related to anything else except I set up what I call POTA outings, and I host one every single month from April all the way through to November at different parks throughout southern Ontario. And we have anywhere between 4 to, we've had up to about 15, 16 people show up. They all operate individually. They want to get, they bring their own gear. They try to get on the parks on the air, and we guide them through it. We have about 3 or 4 Elmers that are there to help them out and to encourage them to get onto HF and have some fun. So maybe this is something that you and I should talk about via email and maybe kind of coordinate some of these things. Over to you.
Yep, QSL. And we also try to do frequent N1CC events. And what that means to us is that we load up operators at various parks throughout the city. And we were focusing on working 11 bands with different operators at different parks so that we can work everything from 80 meters all the way up to 70 centimeters. And that gives everybody a big boost on parks worked. And the N1CC event obviously is working 10 bands from a park. And you have to do that from 10 different parks. So as we work through that process, some of our newer operators haven't got a full list of parks that they worked multiple bands from. So you can imagine the fun. It's more fun than field day because you're setting up at the park and you're going to work. We start with 70 centimeters, then we go down to 2 meters, and then we transverse into the HF bands, works 6, 10, 12, 15, 17, 20, 40, and 80 meters. So we specifically target 11 bands. So if a particular operator has some equipment troubles and they miss out on one, they don't lose credit for the N1CC award. So we do that 3 or 4 times a year as well. And it's a lot of fun, especially working with the newer operators. They get a view from the more seasoned operators working in rapid setups, throwing up an antenna, getting your radio set up to work with an antenna that is resonant on the band, and then making station-to-station contacts in an organized fashion, and then moving on to the next band. So it's dynamic, it's fun, and at the end of the day, you just never know how many people you're going to end up doing a face-to-face with afterwards. But a lot of fun, and certainly the reason why this amateur hobby is becoming so much more dynamic and so much more person-to-person friendly.
Exactly. You hit the nail right on the head right there. That's the whole reason why I started this endeavor here with the POTA outing. To meet people face to face, to have camaraderie, to build companionship, and a community within the amateur radio hobby. And it really did work, and I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. So I'm glad how it's turning out for you guys too down there as well. Max, thank you for all that, and definitely we should touch on this via email. And on VE3AJF, do you have any itching projects when the warmer gets weather? Over to you.
Yes, I'm looking to modify my antennas. I have a 10-meter dipole and a 20 and 40 meter infrared. What I want to do is adjust them so they'll cover the 40 rather than should cover 80 meters at least. What I find sometimes when I listen to the 20 and 40 on the 10-meter antenna, of course I don't transmit on it, I just listen. The balanced antenna is very, very quiet as opposed to the infrared. I'm going to try probably modify that one first to see if I can get into to 40, get it to work at 20 and 40, and see what happens. And yeah, if you're going to extend your tower, I think you may want to check maybe a bylaw about height restrictions. I think some places, municipalities may have height restrictions on antennas. You might want to check on that. And yeah, park to park. I find that annoying because somebody calls park to park and they get priority. Not with all operators. Some operators will put them into the queue and get to them in turn. But most of the time they get priority, which I find a little annoying. Also, when Robert was transmitting, I was getting quite a bit of distortion. Sorry, Roger. I was getting quite a bit of distortion on his signal. And quite a wild fluctuation of his signal strength. Maybe just multipassing, I don't know. And Robert, I thought, was over-modulating a little bit as well. And I think I covered it for now. Back to you, Phil. VCAGF.
E3AJF, E3GFX. Yes, you know what? I've found the same issue here with my NFED, and this is why we're starting to change up a few things. The dipoles are definitely a little quieter than the NFED. But what I've done with my NFED last year in the late fall was I did choke it to a 1-to-1 balance, and then I stamped on a few ferrite beads just to see what would happen. Put about 4 or 5 of them down the coax, and then a few more as it entered the shack just before the antenna switch. And that seemed to mitigate a lot of the noise that I was picking up in my area. Because your coax essentially strung out there, regardless of what's connected at the end of it, the shield is in fact going to pick up RFI. So I did that, and it seemed to quiet things down. But the height restriction is 48 feet here in Brampton. My tower is, I think, 28 feet. I'm bringing it up to 36 feet plus the mast. So I think the very top portion of the mast will be at just about 40 feet. But I'm keeping that restricted there to that height because my backyard backs onto Dixie Road. And I've got 2,700 and 27,000 volt lines very close to my house as one of the main lines go up Dixie Road. So in a catastrophic failure, it won't touch those lines. So that's why I keep a little bit of a height restriction on that. Well, very good, Anon. And yes, I hear you about the park-to-park, and it can be a little bit of a, a little bit frustrating. I don't, when I go out to a park activation, I do hear the park-to-park. I do acknowledge them, but I'll take the weaker station first. Always take the weaker station first. And those park-to-parks will always hang around. They want to get that park-to-park, so I leave them to last. All right, very good for that, Anon. Let's go over to Edwin, VE3XPN. Are you still with us? Well, since you're still with us there, Edwin, do you have any plans with the warm-up in the weather coming up shortly? And, related to amateur radio. Over to you. Well, I'll tell you, with all this shoveling that we've been doing at minus 10, minus 15 degrees Celsius, and the wind's blowing, going out at plus 5 to plus 10 is going to feel quite balmy. We'll be out there in a hoodie and bare hands working on the antenna. Well, very good. Well, thank you for that, Edwin. Roger, Va3HPR, what's your plan for the warm-up?
Oh, I don't know. Not much antenna work, but I was going to go up to the trailer today, but it was too cold, so I'm skipping it for a couple of weeks. And go up see how much snow's left up there, or do I get to shovel the roof off again? And if you're wondering, Phil, one of my 30-pound propane tanks, if I'm just running the furnace, just the fridge, the hot water heater, and the stove or the oven once in a while, I get about 3 weeks out of a 30-pound tank. And up there is like, a refill is $40. Was last year anyway. So that's about it. Back to you.
Well, thanks for that. I actually didn't even think of that, going out RVing with that. But, I mean, we'll probably be leaving, taking the Friday off and taking the Monday off and going out for like a 4-day extended long weekend. And, going up to Tobermory, going up to North Bay and so forth like that, and doing these little trips. But, and maybe even to some Crown Land places. I just got an app on my phone here that gives you some really good places on Crown Land that you can park an RV on. That's more than welcome. So, all right, thank you for that. Robert, VE3, VAJ, over to you. And what do you got planned for the warmer weather?
How about putting my mobile radio back together? I took it all apart to get the car fixed at the body shop. And, the antenna and the microphone are still inside here, so the mobile works real well right now. It doesn't work real well when it's together, but works real well as apart. Park to park, I know nothing about. You guys are up on me on that one. But if Mac would send me the information when they're going to be doing the 2-meter 440 stuff, I could probably join in with that from the home QTH here. Let me see. You're talking about RVs. Wife and I rented a motorhome type RV from a rental place. Took it down to Quebec a couple years ago and just loved it. Just loved it. Couldn't beat it. My brother has an RV. I don't get to drive it. He doesn't trust anybody driving that thing. He's dropped the tranny in it once. He dropped the motor in it once. So I told him, I don't know people drive it. He says, I drive it too hard. But he keeps it at his work 20, and if he has 2 shifts back to back, he'll use the RV and sleep in the RV at his work. And so I don't know. But when we do get together and go up north, we take the RV up. But he said this year we're not. We're taking a Ranchero. It's a car. I don't remember what it looks like. I haven't seen it in a few years, but he's going to take the Ranchero up north. And of course, there's a Jeep up there we use from the bottom of the road up to the cottage, or shack, or what you want to call it. There's no power, no hydro up there. There's a generator for running power for my radio and one light. He actually hooked up a light and a receptacle so I could have a radio up there. But other than that, there's no power in the place, no running water. And if you want to use a Johnny, it's called a Johnny on the spot, or hole in the ground. Yeah, I had to move the shed, Johnny almost every second year to dig a new pit for it. Otherwise it gets a little smelly. And of course you have to make sure you don't have any foreign animals going up in there, such as bees, wasps, etc. Anyways, so my plans for the warmer weather is to get out and get my mobile radio put back together. Of course, I'd love to get a new radio. That one in the car don't work too well, but I'll stick with the one I got for now. Anyways, there, Phil. So we're calling it the 70 centimeter simplex net. That still works. So you still got to be logged in on the Aries website or not?
Well, first off, to log in on that site, I have no idea about that site. I know it's the Menke site or whatever it's called. I don't have access to it, so I don't have the ability to upload to it. But that's something that we could talk about later on. It would be nice to log these nets up there. And also in the future, I will be running. I always run NetLogger during this net, but I run it in standalone mode. But I'm thinking starting next week, I will be running NetLogger online, so people can check out the logins live in real time, and also use the almost instant messenger portion of NetLogger. So there we go. Well, that's cool that you were out RVing. And that shack, that is a shack. Way up there, the light pollution must be next to nothing. And that must be absolutely amazing. I'd love to go to something like that. Robert, okay, well, thank you for that. Mark, let's go over to you, Va3Hs. Do you have any plans for the warmer weather? Over to you.
Thanks, Phil. Va3Hs returning. Well, I'm going to be spending most of this month down in the U.S. on tour, down the eastern seaboard. So hopefully as it warms up, I might sneak in a few POTA activations. I did, during January and February, I managed to get some activations in California and Florida. So hopefully next month, depending on weather, I'll get a few more. And as soon as I get back, a little bit of antenna maintenance to do with the off-center fed in the backyard, and a whole laundry list of stuff to do for the Mississauga Club that I've been putting off because I've been away with work. So yeah, looking forward to the warmer weather and to be rid of all the snow and to get back outside, because I do really love operating in the field. That's one of my favorite all-time things to do. And yeah, that's about it. I'll send it back to you, Phil.
Well, that's awesome when you're out on tour there that you're able to take a break in between shows and go do some port operations, especially down in California and Florida. That's great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the warmer weather, getting out there doing portable operations. For some reason, going back when I first got licensed, I always thought like portable operations. Who wants to go out there and operate out there? I want to work in a nice shack here. But I got hooked a few years back, and I really like the challenge of going out and doing portable operations, even backpacking out to a unactivated provincial park. And these are parks that are not able to just drive in and park and go. You have to park at the side of the road, hike in, set up for portable operations, and go activate. So looking at doing a bunch of those this summer. Very good, Mark. And I also understand with the list of things piling up for the club. I got the same thing happening here. Well, good to hear you in there, Mark. And now with that, we've reached the bottom of the list. This is Victor Echo 3, Golf Foxtrot X-Ray Net Control Station for the 70 centimeter Simplex Net for every Sunday at 9 p.m. Any stations like you are looking to check in, please come now.
Va3HPR.
Oh, we have a recheck there with Va3HPR. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, my fresh water, my gray water, and my black water, they're all 30 gallon tanks. And yeah, my water heater is 6 gallons. So back to you there, Phil.
Oh, right on. So this is something that they're going to have to tell us. We're going to be renting the first several times. So we're going to have to get ourselves familiar with it. And it will be a motorhome that we'll be renting. And I'm looking at several different companies that rent out RVs. One out from Bolton. There's like that Canada Dream or whatever here in Brampton. And a few others. So it's definitely going to be a culture shock and learning experience there. All right, well, very good. Thank you for that. Now we've reached the bottom of the list. We currently have 9 check-ins. So let's go back up the top. We'll start our 73 round. VA3, PLJ, over to you, Jason, and you're 73.
And Jason is something that we don't hear.
Va3PLJ. Jason, are you still with us? Oh, Jason moved on. Over to Max. Va3IMW. Over to you for your 73.
Absolutely thrilled for this net to be carrying on, whether it's called one thing or another. Anyways, just a reminder, we're going to continue to live stream as many of the nets that we're participating on. So if you hear my voice, you can always type in my call sign into the YouTube search engine, and perhaps you'll be able to hear something that I hear and other stations don't. 7-3s for the time being. Va3IMW, back to you.
Va3IMW, VE3GFX. Mac, yes. And before you go, let's connect via email sometime over the next couple of weeks, and let's talk about this Parks on the Air, because it sounds like you've got something going on there. We've got something going on over here, and maybe there's something we can do in parallel together. Well, thank you for joining us here tonight, and yeah, I'm happy with how this net's turning out, and it keeps building each and every week. 73 Mac, have yourself a great evening and a great week. VE3 AJF, Anon, over to you for your 73.
Okay, Phil and Mac, thank you for pointing out how to turn on the multimeter display on the 7100. I'm going to try it probably tomorrow. And Phil 73 at UNL.net, PCAGF.
On 73 Anon, and have yourself a great night. VE3 XDN Edwin, if you're still with us, you're 73. 73 Edwin, and good to hear you in there, and a good clean signal this evening too as well. Always glad to hear you in there. Roger, VA3 HPR, over to you.
Yeah, good net there, Phil. I got to get up at 4, so I'm turning it in. VA3 HPRs. I'm hitting that sack, as they call it, or hitting the hay, or whatever you want to call it. VA3 HPR clear.
The Dutch oven, the fart sack, Sorry, I had to put that in there. I totally concur with you on that, because my 5 o'clock comes early too as well. All right, Roger, 7-3, take care, and drive safe in the morning over to Billy Bishop. Thanks for joining us. Robert, VE3, VAJ, I'm going to say first, thank you for allowing me to be net controller for this net that you started here, and it's evolving. It is definitely evolving. Over to you. Robert, VE3, VHA, are you still with us? I guess Robert turned it in for the evening. Mark, VA3, HES, over to you. VA3, HES, Mark, are you still with us? No, Mark's called it a night too as well. I totally understand. Well, with that, it's 21:47. Well, again, there's another record set for the length of this net. Well, with that, this has been the 70cm Simplex Net for Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. That occurs every Sunday evening at 2100 hours or 0200 Zulu UTC. I will be officially closing the net at 21:47 and returning this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Thank you to all that checked in for this evening. 73 from VE3 GFX. Have a great evening.